I was miserable for a long time. I stayed there 22 years and, I went through some really tough, dark times. I didn't become this Bobbi Brown when I was 30. When I work with any kind of company, that they have people of all colors there so they could check how it looks on people's skin. If something doesn't work, it's like, that's a message to do something else. When I left, the brand, it was tough because it's my name. They own my name.
Yeah.
They can have my name.
Yeah.
It's only a name. I am still Bobbi Brown.
Hello and welcome to Second Act, the podcast and community for women in midlife who refuse to fade into the background. I'm your host, Ateh Jewel, and I'll be speaking to celebrity guests about the moment they knew they were in their second act and how they're changing the game in their next one. Our guest for today's episode is one of my all-time beauty heroes, Bobbi Brown. Now, Bobbi founded her cosmetic company, Bobbi Brown Cosmetics, in 1991 and revolutionized the beauty industry with her incredible makeup line. Her memoir, Still Bobbi, shares the story of her life and businesses and is out now. I cannot wait to talk to her. Bobbi Brown, welcome to Second Act. Bobbi Brown, I am overexcited. I got here early, and everyone knows that's a lot for me. Welcome to Second Act, and thank you for coming on.
My pleasure. I've been waiting for this a long time.
Yay! So, Bobbi, you are the queen of beauty. You have what you don't know isn't worth knowing. Please summarize your first act in 3 words.
Oh my gosh. I would say surprising, incredible, and successful.
I love that. Talk to me about surprising.
I never thought I would be this successful. I never thought I would be this known. I didn't try to be either of those things. I just did what I did. And so the whole thing is kind of like, wow.
I love that. So it was a byproduct. You didn't dream, sit in your bedroom dreaming. You know how people like, I want to be famous. I want to be that wasn't you.
No. And if I would have had a crystal ball that showed me what my life would be, I would have said no, because it would have been overwhelming and scary to me. Like it happened slowly, fast, it happened. And I just kind of go with it. I'm very resilient.
Are you an introvert or an extrovert?
I always thought I was an extrovert, and I thought my husband was an introvert, and it's the opposite. I am someone that when I'm done with all this energy expanding, I need to go by myself quietly and just kind of process. My husband needs to go be around people to get his energy.
It's the social battery. It's like what warms you up. People warm me up,
right? And
sometimes people exhaust other people. That's so interesting.
I get exhausted. Especially when people make a big fuss about me. I like being with my people that kind of, I'm just Bobbi for them. I'm still Bobbi.
Talk to me about incredible. What does that mean to you?
Just incredible means great. It just means it was incredible, right? I assume that's how you describe it, but so many things were incredible, being able to make products, being able to, to have people love the products, being able to make more products, all pretty incredible stuff.
And in terms of success, what kind of home did you come from? Because I'm Nigerian, so there were 3 careers, doctor, lawyer, engineer. So to go into beauty, my dad thought he just didn't comprehend it. Were you brought up in a home where you were supposed to be super successful and do a certain thing? Or so why is success surprising to you?
Well, I was not brought up in a home that expected that I would be successful. I got not great grades in high school, and my parents stopped punishing me, and they had a talk between the two of them, and they said, leave her alone. She's never going to really be anything. Maybe she'll be a teacher and a mother. Well, I am both those things. So, I was not brought up to, you have to do this. But my mother did encourage me that I could do anything I want.
God, that's such a generational approach. Like that will echo to so many people. Do you think you're dyslexic?
I'm not dyslexic, but I'm very ADD.
Yes.
So, I now could learn.
Yeah.
If I had the right person teaching me. I needed someone to sit me down and say, let me explain. And I got great grades in classes I was interested in. Like English or, anything creative, I was fine. Even history, I was okay because there were stories. But numbers and science, I was like, why do I have to learn biology? Like, I'm not going to be a doctor. calculus, like, explain this to me.
It is that I'm hearing that when you hyper-focus, you love it, you could do it.
Right.
But that really does dent your identity and your self-esteem. So do you
Right.
think that actually helped you, that you were under the radar in a funny way?
No, I think it hurt me because it made me feel like I thought everyone was smarter than me. I just wasn't smart. And now I know I'm just a different kind of learner. I mean, I'm a real quick study and I learn things really fast, but not out of a manual.
You know what? Thank you for saying that, because you are one of the most successful people ever, not just beauty.
Oh.
And it's so important for people who, we got, like I've just been diagnosed with ADHD. I was told at university, at college, I was dyslexic. I never knew.
Right.
And so many of us didn't get caught in the net and write ourselves off.
Well, I do think people that have those things will be better than people that don't. Because a lot of very smart, well-educated people that I've hired many times can't get themselves out of a box because they're too busy analyzing and planning. And us creative people are like, no, let's just get on with it. Oh, we could do it like that. And so if schools would understand there's people that learn differently, if they would have given me my own store to create, even a grocery store, I would have learned more about math.
Yeah. I call it hunter,
right?
Because I've got twins. One's got ADHD and dyslexic like me. The other is very neurotypical.
Right.
So it's a science project and I can see how they operate.
Yeah. And by the way, us entrepreneurs need those people to help us. We have 3 sons. 2 of them are very entrepreneurial. My oldest son is not. He wants to be, the chief of staff, the COO, run someone else's something.
Yeah, that's like my Adana.
Yeah.
I said the corporate world will love you and you will love it.
Yeah, well, he doesn't like the corporate world, so that's the only problem. But, yeah.
But talk to me about, if you were to give yourself a report card for your first act, what would it say?
I would say A for maybe an A minus. A minus.
Are you serious, Bobbi Brown?
No. It's really an A plus, but I would give myself an A minus because now I look back and realize I could have spoken up more. And trust me, I spoke up a lot. But there were things I probably could have said, don't act like that. Don't speak to me that way. Don't, you kind of, when you're younger and you're growing up, you realize, or you don't realize that you do have some kind of power.
And no is a full sentence.
And no is a full sentence, which I'm still learning.
Do you think that, because, I'm a Gen X woman and we were brought up to be very polite and pleasing and accommodating and not a troublemaker. Did you feel that kind of misogyny and patriarchy in why you didn't speak up more? Because I certainly did.
Not even a little. And I think I had no problem speaking back to men.
Yeah.
It was the women.
Ooh.
It was a bunch of women in my life that that I think I could have been a little stronger and tougher. But guess what? The good news about going through all of that, I've really learned how to be a strong, truthful, direct woman because of it.
So just trust yourself.
Yeah, trust yourself. But you have to learn. You don't just know it, right? I didn't become this Bobbi Brown when I was 30. So, it takes a while.
How do you give yourself grace? Because I'm a beater-upper. I think a lot of people, you get cross with yourself. Why didn't I do that? How do you give yourself that grace?
I'm not a beater-upper. I'm always thinking something could be better. Like I work hard, trying to appreciate what the good thing that happened. Because I'm always like, oh yeah, that was great, but we could have done this, or we should have done this, or why didn't this happen, or why didn't, I know I overwhelm people around me sometimes because they do their best work. It's amazing. But I'm like, yeah, but we didn't do this. We didn't do this. So some people, might not want to work with me and other people want to learn from me.
Yeah. It's like cream rises to the top.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you were in your 30s when you set up your makeup company. What gave you the confidence at that age to do it? And how do you feel when you look back on that time now?
I definitely didn't have confidence. I had naivete. Yeah. I was very naive. And, I didn't say, oh, I want to go create a makeup brand. I had an opportunity that I took when I met a chemist at a shoot that I was on who said he could make something for me. We were having a chat about what I thought about lipsticks, and he said he makes them, and he showed me some things. And then he said, oh, I could make it for you. And so we started doing it together. I didn't need any money. It was, he said, I will supply the lipstick. I'll make them. I'll supply them. You sell them. So it was, and we'll sell them for $15 and you'll get $7.50, I'll get $7.50. Said, I have no idea how much it cost him. I said, that's a good deal. And that's how I originally started selling it out of my house.
That is cray-cray.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
So you just, also the power of a chitty chat.
Yes, 100%. I've had chitty chats with so many people and interesting, good things come out of it.
And that lipstick line, literally, I want to ask you personally, in a time where everything was frosted and it was very over the top, and I'm a child of the 80s, it was very like Dynasty on crack, and you came out with something so muted and beautiful and that classic Bobbi aesthetic.
Right.
What gave you the confidence to go right when everyone's left, or left when right?
Well, again, it wasn't confidence. It was like, for me, it just made sense. Why would I do something that didn't look attractive? I would much rather do something I thought was more beautiful. And I was always studying and obsessed with people's faces. I'd look at the color of their skin, their lips, their cheeks, their eyelids. Like, people have natural tones. And so I realized that I could be a better makeup artist if I just used colors that look like people's tones. And that's how I kind of started.
That's so interesting because you understand undertones, and I think so many people don't.
Right.
And I've got a wild theory that people who are great at color are dyslexic. I've never met someone who's amazing at color. Hairstylists, they see color, you see it, you're an artist, you see it in a different way. So
and we're hyper-focused on what we actually care about and like to look at.
Yeah.
And we don't care about the other stuff.
So that's your hyper-focus and the attention to detail. You just were like, I'm going to do that.
I mean, I just did it. And I just, I'd be at a set and I'd be working with a model and I'd put a lipstick on her and say, oh, that looks terrible. And then I would always put a lipstick on that enhanced the lip color and realize that if it was, a different tone, it just looked orange or it looked something. I always mixed and blended things to get that color. And with a lot of the Black models, I would have to take a brown eyeshadow or a brown pencil to deepen the other lipsticks that were not specifically made for women of color.
And I love you for that because, I had such a hard time as a beauty mad teenager. Why I started with a blush. I went to counter and I said, oh, can I please have a blush, a pink blush? And the consultant said, honey, Black girls don't blush and Black girls don't do pink. I was 15 and it destroyed something in me.
Oh my gosh.
And then she went, maybe go to the back of the beauty hall where there's fashion fair. Maybe they have something.
Oh my God.
It was literally go to the back of the beauty bus. No shade to fashion fair.
Yeah.
But I never felt seen.
Right.
And so when your line came out, you really saw everybody.
Yes.
Was that really wild back in the day to try and convince people to have shades for deeper skin tones? Was that something you had to fight for?
I didn't have to fight for it. I just did it. And it was revolutionary, which it shouldn't have been, but it was. And that's because when I started the range, I'd been a makeup artist for years and I had so many experiences. Like, I was once hired back then for CoverGirl and they got me a beautiful model. She was a Black girl. And I'll never forget, I was like, I need a darker shade. They'd give me a darker shade. I'm like, that's too dark. And I realized nothing was working on her. I could not use anything. And it was an ad for foundation. And I couldn't mix and blend. And I had to literally open up my bag and find weird tones to do something. And then the same thing when it came to choosing her lipstick, because it just didn't look good on her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, be the answer. So you were the answer.
So be the answer. And I figured it out. And, by the way, the bad blushes looked better on her cheeks than their blushes.
Yeah.
The bad lipsticks look better on her cheeks because there was more depth. More depth.
Yeah.
When your skin is darker, you need more depth. And by the way, then I would work with a girl from, a very pale, white-skinned girl, probably from the UK. And I'm like, oh my God, everything looks yellow on her.
Yeah.
So I kind of understood that. And then, women in the middle, which is me, everything looked orange. And I'm like, no, I don't have orange undertones. I have yellow undertones. So that's how I because I was trying to be a good makeup artist.
It's the focus.
Yeah.
And just getting it right. Were there moments that came up when writing your memoir that surprised you?
Yes. I was really surprised how many of these little pinch me moments I had. Because people always say, what was the one where you knew? And I mean, it just kept going. And I look, I don't think I'm done now, but it was really cathartic for me to write the book and just understanding not just my journey, but also, my challenges and my history from the time I was born until now. And, all the things that I experienced as a kid, my parents, my grandparents, my aunts, early makeup artists, breaking into it, being a mother, living in the suburbs, commuting to New York in the fashion business and trying to keep it all together. It wasn't easy.
My God, the juggle is real.
The juggle is real. But it's, now that I'm a grandmother, I have 2 grandkids. I'm like, thank you. It's amazing. But
I
I'm
can't
like,
wait to be a grandma.
Yeah.
Brazil, they call it sugar mama. Because you're being a mum with all the best bits.
Oh, I love that. Wait till I tell
mama.
Lily I'm a sugar mama. Yeah.
I can't wait to be a sugar mama.
But I also love giving advice now to working moms and say, guys, just enjoy this because it goes fast.
Did you enjoy it? Because I was too busy. I was so busy.
Oh my God. I couldn't wait to come home from my work to be with the kids and smell them. And, at one point, it's not that I had the courage or the confidence to say no to go to these, events at night. I just knew that I didn't want to stand there, and I had a choice. I could stand there and have to get a blowout, bring in an extra outfit to dress up in, wear really uncomfortable shoes, eat food that's going to make me feel gross, and the kids are going to be put to bed by my husband. And I said, no, I'd rather be home. So I just didn't go. Rarely.
Were you, because there's so much pressure to do everything, be everything.
Right.
And you just made a choice.
Right. And now I see on Instagram all these things that I somehow didn't get invited to. And I have FOMO for 2 seconds. And I'm like, oh my God, thank God I didn't get invited. I want to be invited, but I don't want to go.
Yes. Yeah. I've got that.
Yeah, right.
It's so funny.
Yeah.
I want to say no to you. Thank you.
Yeah,
What does the term second act mean to you?
Well, I think I've had more than a second act. I've had 2 beauty brands, but I was a freelance makeup artist. So I already had my career in beauty. And then I launched the brand, which could have been my second act. And then I've, done so many other things since then. But, I've had 2 major beauty brands, and that's pretty unbelievable because I was worried that after, Bobbi Brown, I could not do something that was meaningful.
Can I just say you're the poster child for like lightning striking twice? Not that 3, 4 times. I know because that's who you are. But talk to me about like transitioning from Bobbi Brown into Jones Road. I'm a makeup bar, miracle bar. I'm such a huge fan. Talk to me about that journey and how did that make you feel?
Well, it was tough, when and all these stories are in the book. But when I left Bobbi Brown Cosmetics, it was not a planned thing. I was miserable for a long time. I stayed there 22 years and, I went through some really tough, dark times. And people even, are, a journalist said to me the other day, she goes, yeah, when I saw you that last day, the last time before you left, you seemed different. There was something not right. And I guess I was really miserable and not feeling supported and good. And, it was a matter of time before it happened. And thank God it did. And it wasn't easy. And there was a lot of, anger and sadness and, all sorts of emotion. But as you know, we all go through things, whether it's our marriage or our work or a parent, and you just have to get on.
Literally, I was going to say, it's like you're very happily married and your family's beautiful, but your business was like my marriage, which ended.
Right. Exactly. No, exactly. And I've had issues with family members, luckily not my children. Yes. I mean, there were times that, 1 or 2 of the kids went through some young emotional things and it was tough, and you just have to rip the Band-Aid off and say, okay, my personality is, okay, what do I do now? That's why I always say, so what, now what, is one of my favorite sayings.
Get that on a t-shirt?
Oh no, I had it painted on the wall of the old Bobbi Brown offices because everyone would come to my office and tell me why something couldn't happen or what fell apart or what they couldn't do because they didn't have the budget or they couldn't do this. And I'd be like, so what? Now what? Right? This happened. Right. So I kind of live my life that way.
I love that. One of my ride or dies, one of my best friends, Laura, she's like, let's deal in facts, not feelings all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's that kind of thing of like, okay, we've processed it, let's crack on.
Right. Now what?
Now what? I love that. Tell me, what was the moment that you knew you were in your second act? You've had all these different evolutions, but For me, second act is like, I've got some road under my tires. I got this. I've got some wisdom now. I'm an elder.
Right. Well,
when did you feel like
I mean,
that?
certainly when I launched Jones Road, I didn't know, I had literally one moment of like, what if I'm a one-hit wonder? And, we ripped the Band-Aid off and we just launched it. And I'm like, what if people don't like it? But then I started to get excited because I'd rather be excited than not. I like the feeling of being excited. So I got really excited and I started hearing people liking things. And really I got a lot of support. Yes, it was on social because it was during the pandemic from customers and women saying, "Oh my God, thank God you're back. We need you." So that, all that makes me feel good. I know it doesn't matter in life. My husband's like, it's only on social. You don't know these people. No, but it does make you feel good, the support.
It's community.
It is. It's community.
It's community. And everyone loves, like, you are the makeup artist. Like, you are the person we all look up to. So thank you. So talking about that, was it a challenge to separate yourself from the company you had built and launched for so long into a new venture? And how did you tackle that fear of failure? Because for me, fear of failure is a biggie. I'm a perfectionist.
Right.
It's not, which is not helpful.
I think I'm a perfectionist. I've let go of a lot of it as I've gotten older, but I don't want to call myself a control freak, but I like to be in control. And having the right people around me is really the secret. When I left, the brand, it was tough because it's my name. They own my name.
How do we feel about that?
Well, it's fine. They can have my name. Yeah. They can have my name. Yeah. It's only a name. I am still Bobbi Brown. I can't help it. And it does get confusing when, a TV host says, "Oh my God, I love this Bobbi Brown Rosie Brown, stick." I'm like, it's not Bobbi Brown. It's Jones Road stick that you're loving, So I'm like, people get confused. So I know it's confusing to consumers out there. Wait, what do you mean? I can't buy Jones Road at the Bobbi Brown counter? No, you can't.
No. So. It's not confusing to me. That's like,
But a lot of, people not in the industry, they don't understand. And they're like, "Oh, you sold it." I'm like, I sold it like decades ago.
Yeah. The beauty business is we were discussing it. It's a very interesting thing. And but Jones Road is your new baby, which is so beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
And I love it. What are you doing differently now in your second act compared to your first act?
So many things. First of all, I have way less people that work for me, way less people on the team. Oh my God, it's so much easier. Yeah. It is. There's no layers and there's people that do a lot of things. And, we've hired very few, but maybe, one or two people that came from a regular corporate company and they're not working here anymore. It doesn't work because people, in the olden days would have one little job. Yeah. And everyone would have a lot of people doing little jobs. And at Jones Road, you have to be a Swiss Army knife. You have to do a lot of things. And, you help out a lot. And
I love that.
Yeah. And you have to work as a team.
Do you know this expression growing up? It was a jack of all trade, a master of none.
Right.
And now in the world we're living in, it's the other way.
It is.
If you can't do lots of things, God help you.
Right. So my makeup artist who's sitting here, Cheyenne, was my first employee. She's the first makeup artist. She's the head of all the makeup artistry. But now she's, reading the marketing briefs and figuring out what we should pull out of it. And when we're at shoots and I need it, she does my hair. So it's like, whatever. Oh, and I don't even have a stylist anymore. And she, tucks my shirts in.
I love that. But that is an entrepreneurial spirit. That is getting your hands dirty.
And it's nicer. It's nicer than not having 15 people. Yeah. Like when I left the company, I had a book to promote, Beauty from the Inside Out. And it was the first time, the way I would go on air is I would go to Dry Bar, get a blowout. I would do my makeup in the taxi, not a limousine. I wouldn't have stylist and I would literally just hop on the set and sit there with jeans and sneakers. And I was so much more me and it felt so much better.
It's authentic to who you are.
It's authentic. Look, it was nice that someone else was paying all the bills. I'm not going to lie. That was amazing. I mean, I used to have suites in the Conant with butlers. I'm certainly not staying in suites with butlers in the Conant right now.
Yeah, but also you look happy and glowing and blooming.
I'm a much happier person. There's no question. Yeah.
So talk to me about Jones Road. Shout out! You launched this brand at 62, which to me is just beautiful and such a sign to everyone that it's never too late to reinvent yourself.
Right.
You can start something new. What was it like to be a new beauty founder in midlife?
Well, I didn't really feel that age was a factor. I still don't. You know, I'm someone that people are always like, oh my God, I can't believe you're 68 years old. I still push myself like I'm in my 30s. However, I made a note to myself, just take it down a notch, because every time I'd have these meetings with my PR team, they're like, oh, this is so exciting. They want you on and we got you this and we got you this. And I'm like, great, 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 great. Then you actually have to do it. And then you're like, oh, maybe I don't really want to get up at 7 a.m. when I'm still on New York time, right? To have this done. But I said yes, so I'm doing it.
I love that though. So it's just, you have the same drive, you have the same energy, you want it.
Yeah.
And you've been so successful. Why did you want to do it again?
Because what else would bring me joy? I tell everyone when they're thinking of their next act, it's not just how you're going to make money or you think you should be have a company. What brings you joy? So you're able to do what you love. And I love creating things. I love working with teams of people, whether it's like opening a store or having a holiday season or whatever, whatever thing comes up in my head. I have people around me that say, oh, this is so fun. Let's do it. So I would miss it. What am I going to do?
Exactly.
Play golf? Tennis?
I love it. My mum told me, my mum's a bit of a hippie. She gave me the best advice when I graduated from university. She said, make your hobby your job and you never feel like you're working.
She's right. What does your mom do?
She's fabulous. She was, she was an 80s rich bitch housewife and married to my dad, who was a diplomat. She'd go to the Dorchester in fur coats and swan around.
Nice.
Then they had a very spectacular divorce, and then she did lots of different things and she raised us. And she's 79 now, still the most glamorous person I know. But that was the best, because it's not, you don't work.
Right.
You just do your hobby.
Right, but you better bring your mother into your business, honestly, because you've got your daughters, you've got you, you've got your mother, and they all offer something different to the customer.
Yeah.
So I am looking forward to reading your book one day. There will be a memoir. You have a very interesting life.
Oh, thank you. It's juicy. It's juicy. It's coming. So you're now 68, as you said. What has this decade meant to you? What has this 60s meant to you?
Well, first of all, it's been my favorite decade so far.
Oh, I love that.
Only because I was able to get my freedom back. I launched this company. Our offices are the most 4 minutes from my house and just so easy and comfortable and great. It's run by my couple of my kids. And, I now have grandkids that I got in my 60s. And it's a great time. And my husband and I are really enjoying our time together where he would like me to work a little less and talk about it a little less, but, I'm working on that.
I love that for you. Growing up, it's such a, especially, in the 80s and 90s, you were taught that by 50, it's over as a woman.
Right.
And you just get started.
40s, it was over.
Yeah.
I remember there was a magazine that was so revolutionary. It was called More Magazine.
Yes.
It was for women over 40. But they never talked about 50. Or 60. And I remember saying to the editor-in-chief, I'm like, why don't you do another magazine called Even More? No one would buy that.
No,
right.
no.
Well, she was wrong because the industry has literally blown up for, menopause and women over 50.
Yeah.
So, because people are probably because they're, taking more HRT, they're taking Ozempic. There's all these things, that are helping people be young. And so women are more vibrant and active as they get older. Money and power. And by the way, we can color our hair.
Yes.
We can put makeup on. Where men went by the time they're 60, if they haven't taken care of themselves, with their big pop belly, they've retired and they just don't look as good as the women do.
They have to buy a Ferrari.
And they have to buy a Ferrari.
That
yes.
was their red lipstick.
Exactly.
So you're excited to turn 70?
I'm not excited to turn 70, not even a little, but I am going to turn 70, so I'm going to make the best of it.
Yeah.
It just sounds, even at 69, 70 sounds old.
Yeah.
but 60 sounded old when I was in my 50s. And, you know, and back, so I will have a blowout party. I think I'm going to text Flo Rida and see if he'll come and perform at my party.
Oh my God, shout out Flo Rida, you better be there.
Yeah, I do. I text him every once in a while. So
does he text back?
He does. He does.
Are you sliding into his DMs? That's what the kids call it.
No, I actually met him because I've always been a super fan, and I was invited to a private concert through his, I think she was the president of the record label, and met him backstage. He couldn't have been nicer. And I'm not a secret hip hop fan. I love dancing.
Yes.
And he called me on stage. So I'm literally standing there with, you know, this big giant purse, and I hear him say, "Where's my gal Bobbi Brown?" And I have really good hearing, and I dropped my purse and I ran on stage. He put his gold chains on me and he played Get Down. You know, and I got down. And my son was with me at the time, and his friend, I think he was in 8th grade or freshman in high school. And he just looked at me like, what is happening?
That's the coolest thing I've ever heard.
Oh, I have it, and every once in a while I put it up on my Instagram.
I'm Googling that immediately.
Oh yeah, it's on YouTube. Okay.
In another life, I would have been a pop star, stroke dancer.
It's not too late.
It's never too late.
Never too late.
I feel there's a Real Housewives-esque pop record in me.
Well, I think you and I might have to do something, because I wanted to be an I Get. Like, I can Tina Turner. I'm like, I can't lead the band, but I could be an I Get.
Yes.
Which I can't, because I love to dance and I've taken lessons.
Yeah.
I'm not good at it. You know, I mean, no one says, "Wow, look at her dance." They go, "Wow, look at her dance."
Dancing is freedom.
It really is.
Yourself.
It really is.
It is being in your body. It's so healing.
And sometimes when I get up in the morning and I just feel like, probably when I haven't worked out for days and I just feel stuck, I literally open up my Instagram and I put on my new favorite app that I joined. It's called Mr. Groove UK.
Okay, yeah.
And I don't know what it is about his energy. It's 5 minutes. I get up, I dance without a mirror. I follow what he does, and I just feel like a new person.
I love that.
Yeah.
Dancing was part of my healing journey.
Okay, yeah.
I wanted to be a ballet dancer when I was growing up. I was told black bodies are not elegant. You'll never be professional. I gave up dancing. 40, I started doing ballet again.
Wow.
And it was because it's spirit versus
Yeah.
leading the body. So dancing is so spiritual.
Yeah.
I love that. So talk to me about your marriage. You've been married for 37 years, which is beautiful, to your husband, Stephen. What is the secret to having such an amazing partnership and also being a working mother? It's so hard to keep.
We're just best friends, you know? I mean, we're just best friends who happen to be attractive to each other, because you can't just be one without the other. I'm saying, my heart still pitters, you know, when I think of him. And, you know, he also pisses me off a lot. So, but, you know, the older I get, I realized, you know what, it's not worth being pissed off. Yeah. So we say sorry a bunch. You know, I didn't mean to insult you, which is a secret, because I don't have to say I was wrong, because I wasn't wrong.
Oh, I love that.
Right? And he doesn't have to say he was wrong. Just, I'm really sorry I upset you. I didn't mean to hurt your feelings, or I didn't mean to not listen. I don't need to say I was wrong, because guess what? I'm not wrong.
I love that. I love that. That's a secret weapon.
Yeah.
That's a secret weapon.
Yeah.
You've got 3 lovely sons that you mentioned, and now you are a grandma. Talk to me how parenting and grandparenting, how is it different in your second act to your first act? Because you change, don't you?
Well, the great thing about where I'm at right now is, you know, 2 of the sons are married. And so I've inherited 2 great daughter-in-laws. Interesting, because I've never had a daughter.
Yes.
So it's fun to share all the shopping things, and, you know, and I've had to really learn not to be too much in their faces and not piss them off.
I bet you're a good mother-in-law.
You can ask them.
Yeah, I bet you're a good
sometimes
mother-in-law.
I'm probably a great mother-in-law, and other times I'm probably a Jewish annoying mother-in-law, because, you know, that's the way it goes. And my youngest son has an amazing girlfriend. So I've got to inherit not only them, but their families.
Yeah.
So, you know, my Thanksgiving table is just, you know, it's like the United Nations, people from all over, and it's fantastic.
This is what I didn't realize. You marry the family.
Yeah, you do.
And that's a really big thing. I've told my daughters, you audition the family, you marry the family.
Yeah, no, it's true. Hopefully, because it really only makes my life richer by being, I have people that have completely different ideas about U.S. politics sitting at my table. And I'm totally fine with that.
Yeah.
People from other countries, I have an Indian daughter-in-law, I have a Filipino, an Irish daughter-in-law. And it's just, it's so great to have not just the same.
But you know what? I call that doesn't shock me, because I call that hot country culture, where identities, nationalities, you all have the same thing in common: food,
right?
A belief in family, and something spiritual,
right?
So it all it's different but the same.
It does. We had this amazing experience, my husband and I. We have a home in the Bahamas, and there was a really bad Hurricane Dorian. It destroyed, the place, and a lot of the people that were working at our place where we had our home, it was a community. They were displaced out of work. They lost their homes. They had nowhere to go. We kind of checked in and said, is there anything we could do? And they were looking for places to live. So we asked these two brothers who worked there if they wanted to come live with us. They said, we would love to, but we have our families. We said, bring them. So we had 12 people come to New Jersey. They lived in our town, in our house for a year. And trust me, we grew up completely different. But you know what? We were the same.
It's so,
right? We were the same.
Yeah.
And it was incredible.
Was that a beautiful experience?
It was probably one of the most beautiful experiences of my life. They were all living in our home, and then we found places for them, and our whole community. They lost medicine, diapers, passports. They had nothing. They came here with Ziploc bags, and they had to be flown privately because they had no passports.
So when you have a bad day and you think, I'm feeling really down, you just reminded
yeah. And these guys were always positive and upbeat, and it was really
beautiful. Talk to me about your biggest learning since starting your second act. What have you learned the most?
That things change, and it's okay. Nothing stays the same, and you just have to be open, smart, and resilient.
And just let things wash over you?
Just, experience them, feel them, and think about what you could do at that moment. That's,
So are you someone who always looks forward? Because I can look back and be like, I should have done that. Regret. And I'm trying really hard not to do that. Is it just go forward?
I definitely go forward, but I'm someone that looks back through pictures. I have, I'm a major, being a visual person, I just have all these cool pictures. And I know when I go home from the UK, I've had the most exhausting, incredible week of my life in the UK. I'm just going to be revisiting all the photos and say, oh my God, number one, how did I do that? And number two, that was so fun. I'm trying to be in the moment.
Yeah.
This is so great. I was just on this amazing radio show. I had so much fun. I fell in love with the guy, and I'm here with you now. And I get to do something cool tonight, and it's great.
So be present.
I'm trying to be present.
Okay, can we please talk makeup, Bobbi
Sure.
Brown? This is where I'm overexcited. I'm a beauty journalist for 24 years, and I love your brand. What is in your handbag? What should people have in their handbag?
Where is my handbag?
Yes, Bobbi Brown.
Oh, yeah.
I want to see what's in your handbag.
But it'll probably surprise you.
This is too exciting.
First of all, I've got a bag that I wrote, a Jones Road bag that I wrote Bobbi's travel kit.
I love that.
So this is, when I'm on the airplane or in a car or I'm not working.
This is gold.
And I could look, if I had half of this or twice, it's the same thing. So my oil stick, because I have very dry skin, I put that on. Then I have 2 products that are in development. One for under the eyes, one for my lips.
Is it like a lip balm kind of thing?
It is like an overnight lip balm.
I love that.
And I've got I think I'm going to create a pot concealer that doesn't make your lines look worse. I'm working on that.
Oh my God, this is gold.
I have a mini lip pencil that's coming out for holiday. They all have silver little pieces.
I love that.
And this is really fun too. You can only have gotten this in the Bobbi kit. We have 2 colors. Yeah. This will not be your color, but we have a bronze one that will be. It's different than the shimmer brick. It's different than the Miracle Balm, it's different than anything.
It's like a highlighter?
It's a highlighter, but
you can put everywhere.
You could put everywhere, and it's
this glow.
So I love this. So that's in there, and one of the blush sticks.
What color blush stick have you got?
Oh no, this is lipstick. Which I use as a blush. And
look at that color.
Yeah, this is not your color. This is nudist.
This is beautiful.
But the new, so Jones Road launched 12 new lipsticks, and it's a different formula than I've ever tried.
What out of the new lipsticks, which shade would like for me?
I think there's chocolate would be amazing. Yeah. And what's the one? Cognac would be beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and our lip pencils and our lipsticks are the exact same color.
I love
that. And we launched the lip pencils first. So women that use the lip pencils, they know what lipstick will work on them. And then I have, this is
I love those!
A neutralizer. And just like your foundation, these are made with a clear base.
Yes.
So when you put them on, they're not ashy. This is one that brightens up under my eyes, but it doesn't look white.
Tell the people why, because that's revolutionary.
Right. Why this is revolutionary. If you have a clear base and you put, some kind of pigment in it, it doesn't look white, because a lot of bases of lipstick and foundation is like cloudy looking. And so when you put color in them, it just looks pasty no matter what.
And you can see it, and I can see it.
And you could see it.
And I've had fights with chemists saying, please, and they put black in the foundations to make them go darker. I was like, I don't have black in my skin.
Right.
I have, you
need a touch of black, but you probably need some blues and some red.
Aubergines and like different colors.
Right.
It's so
And you have to, and my advice to you is get out of the lab, even with the chemist. Say, step outside with me, sir, or ma'am, whoever you are. Don't just look in whatever light they're working in. They don't realize it doesn't look the same when you get outside.
It's so true. And when I was formulating my foundation, I had a chemist say, I've worked with all the big beauty brands for 30 years, and I'm going to tell you something. He said, I based my shades for deeper skin tones on colors I thought looked nice on the shelf.
Oh my God.
And I went, thank you for the gift of truth. It makes sense, because all those weird terracotta colors that, you're like, why? Who looks like that? It's because John in a basement thought it looked nice on a shelf.
Oh my God. So it's crazy.
So it's like when you have a proper artist, or someone who really cares, it's a different experience.
Well, is your chemist your color skin, or is he white?
Well, I had to audition lots of chemists, and I had to have lots of interesting, spicy conversations. Trini from Trini Woodall, who was like my fairy makeup godmother. She opened up her contacts and gave me a contact. I flew to Italy, and surprise, surprise, it was a group of women who were the first to say, we don't know what you're talking about, but we'll give it a go.
Right.
And everyone else, it was just, no, sweetheart, that's not how it's done.
But I make sure when I work with any kind of company that they have people of all colors there, so they could check how it looks on people's skin.
Do you know, all the factories I spoke to, they didn't check on anyone with a deeper skin tone, the colors.
Of course. Well,
and I was like, are you serious? It shocked me.
Yeah. They do it on their arm. I like, who cares what it looks like on the inside of your arm?
Yeah. So I'd be making notes going, more pink, more this. And they're like, we're doing it. So I flew over. I'm like, no, on me. This is what it's like.
I know.
It's basic, isn't it?
Yeah.
Talk to me about some of your iconic favorite products that you've made. Like your children, you can't pick a favorite. But if there was something that one person had to have, would it be the Miracle Balm? Would it be a concealer? What are your
I think
non-negotiables?
I think a lot of things. I think it's so basic, but our brown pencil and our brown shadow is actually brown.
Yes.
Where there's, it's not black, it's not orange, it's not pasty, it's brown. It's not ashy. It's true, real brown. Yeah. So, our pencils are top sellers. Of course, almost everyone knows and loves Miracle Balm, so that's an easy one. We also have, I'm all about complexion.
Yes.
So our face pencils, everyone needs the face
22.
pencils.
I love them.
Whether it's a dot on your face or around your nose or wherever it is, and then you get a lighter color for under your eyes. And I really love our What the Foundation. It's called WTF. It's for women that have, dry skin, and for women that like a little less coverage, just enough tinted moisturizer. We call it tinted moisturizer because you don't need a moisturizer with it, but it really does cover. So it's like, a a more natural looking foundation.
And for women who are in midlife, they've never felt confident with makeup, and you get to a point where you get scared to ask. People, I see this all the time. I should know how to do a liquid eyeliner. I should know how to do this. And they get embarrassed. What do you say for the women who want to be more experimental or want to try makeup? What advice do you give to them?
Well, certainly find a nice makeup artist behind the counter.
That's great.
Right?
advice.
That you like the way they look.
Yes.
And, that's how we train all of our makeup artists, to be empathetic, to be kind, and to just simply explain how to do something. Like our technique is so simple.
Finally, if you could share some advice about your second act to your younger self and all our listeners. So you go in your time machine, you go back in time. The Bobbi of today, what would you tell Bobbi from first act?
I would say absorb everything you learned over all of, these years, what you believe you should do, what you never want to do ever again. And when you start again, just do it your way.
I love that.
Be in charge, do it your way.
Do you feel you've learned more from your mistakes?
100%. I don't really look at anything as failure. If something doesn't work, it's like, that's a message to do something else.
Because I internalize it. I'm like, so you just like, it's just the universe giving you a little bump to go a different direction.
Go different direction, 100%.
Well, that's a very beautiful way of looking at it.
Yeah.
It's time for your second act, where we read emails and voice notes sent in by you, my wonderful listeners. This one is from Colleen. Hi, Ateh. I am currently in the sandwich generation, looking after my aging parents and my kids, who are going to university in the next couple of years. I know the end is in sight, but I can't seem to balance all these demands on my time and energy with time for myself.
First of all, don't rush it. I know it's hard because your kids will be out of the house and you're going to be mad at yourself that you didn't have more positive feelings. It's, it's a natural part of evolution, but now is the time to just sneak it in. You could find 5 minutes in the morning to stretch. You could find a time to sit down with a cup of tea and something, 10 minutes. Give yourself little digestible snacks. I'm not saying go take hours for yourself, but you could find moments.
I love that. And just make space for yourself.
And make space and just start giving back to yourself. Because by the way, if you don't give back to yourself, no one else is doing it.
And you will crash.
You will crash. And then you will not be good to help either of those, people.
I read this quote saying, if you're an empath, don't do it for yourself, but do it because your people need you.
100%.
And then you'll do it.
Yeah, that's why they say put your mask on first when you're in, when you have children.
I hope that helps, and you've got this. And put on a nice lipstick or make you feel better.
Yeah.
Bobbi, this has been fantastic.
Aww.
Thank you so much for coming on Second Act. I know you've touched millions of people. You've touched my life, and so many people get so much from this conversation. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you. This was awesome.
Thanks so much for listening. If you've got a dilemma or question you need answering, please email me at secondactpod@hellomagazine.com. Don't forget to rate us if you've enjoyed the show, and you can find all the best Second Act wisdom from our amazing experts via the Hello Magazine website. And I'll see you next week.